Thanks for clicking play. I am on my way. It's another day. Gonna make a few more dollars. Leaving a Love's now.
In 1/4 mile, turn left on Heritage Drive.
You know, something I've noticed on other videos that I wish people would do, so I'm gonna do it. Today is September 12th. I may not get to post this video today. Oh, look at that. Behind me, my drawer opened up. Those things latch when you close them all the way, but if you don't, they'll move open. Imagine putting your house in a moving vehicle.
Turn right at the traffic light, then exit right.
I just saw some old men with a little stand that says free Bible course. I think that's awesome. Now, the significance of September 12th it's not by itself
Take the exit
a significant day.
Toward Tupelo.
So I'm gonna just continue. My face camera turned off. Apparently I didn't have that running. We'll catch up and get the face up there in a minute. Two days ago, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I have given it a lot of thought. Of course, I've watched a lot of things and heard a lot of opinions. And first off, let me talk about my channel a little bit. I had intended to not put any kind of political stuff in my channel. But I do have to draw a line against murder and make sure that people know I am clearly on the side of thou shalt not kill. All right? It's not nice. It can't be undone. You're taking everything away from a person and the people that they loved. A murderer, of course, not you. If you've never murdered someone, don't take offense to that one, okay? But that is a thing that just can't be undone, and it's so wrong. It's so wrong under every circumstance. The only thing that I'll budge on a little bit is the death penalty, and that would be because there are good reasons sometimes where the only likely solution could be the death penalty for certain kinds of offenses, right? Now, I'm not going to go all into that. I could do hours of content about that. The reason this hurts so much is I've learned a lot from Charlie Kirk, and his organization, Turning Point USA, has been doing amazing things. He visited a lot of colleges because he recognized that young people especially of that age, are very vulnerable to ideas that aren't very good, okay? And it's been recognized that the college system has been inundated by people of a certain mindset who have become staff, like professors and administrative staff at the colleges. And so it's really gotten to the point where there is practically no representation for certain points of view at colleges. And it's a little bit, well, geez. See, anyway, it's a tragedy. I was about to go down the rabbit hole into some history, things that I have learned in the last 5 years probably, that are really disheartening about plans that people have made since World War II, okay? So that's pretty much before just about all of us were born. I'm not going to go into that, especially since I'm not prepared. I don't have dates or names, and this is not a political channel. This is a philosophy channel and a how to live a happy life channel. I do believe that ideology that leads people to do things like murder a person because they have different ideas, that ideology, I don't believe leads to happy people. And if you talk to those people, especially if you bring up anything like you say that you like Trump, or wear a red hat that says "Make America Great Again," or fly an American flag, things like that will get you shouted down by these people. Now that suggests to me that those people are not very happy, that they want the country to be completely different. A lot of them have actually said things like, I saw a clip where a guy, a college student was asking Charlie Kirk questions. And he asked something, he said something to the effect of, you love America, right? And Charlie said, yes, I do love America very much. And the questioner said, I hate America so much. I hate about everything about it. And Charlie, instead of trying to convince this guy to love America, what did Charlie do? Charlie just said, well, if you hate America, why don't you leave? And the guy was slammed. He was like, well, what do you mean? Why would I, he stumbled. And Charlie's like, well, I just find it very interesting that these people run around telling us how much they hate America, yet they've made no plans to leave. Why is that? America is the place that makes people that hate it so much, yet allows them to say that openly and doesn't even force them to leave the country. So that's the America we live in. You can say and believe anything you want. The rest of us don't have to agree with your belief. And what you can't do is actually hurt another person. That's crossing a line. It's crossing a line I won't cross. I won't punch a person. I won't shoot a person. I won't slap. I won't poison them. I won't steal from. Pardon me. I won't steal from them. I will compete against other people. And if I'm better at something than they are, I'm sorry about that. They're welcome to compete against me, and they're welcome to practice and get better. Or they're welcome to get out of the competition, right? Charlie was a great guy. I saw him treat everybody with respect. Lots of people would call him all kinds of horrible names. And he had a very, very good way of sloughing that off and saying, okay, those names don't apply. They're not true. They're not right. And instead of trying to convince the other person to stop it, he just let them have their little win. Which kind of lets the air out of their sails, because they realize I'd talk about what that is, but that would change the subject. The noise. Yeah, it takes the air out of their sails, because they'll call him a racist or a fascist or whatever, and he would he'd just say, well, so says you know. Once in a while, he'd get up there and say, well, hang on a minute, let's talk about that. Why do you think I'm a racist? What have I done? And, you know, they would try to name some things, and he'd be like, no. Those things that I've done are not racist things. Those are just... You do have to make judgments in life. You do have to decide. You do have to decide at some point between right and wrong. Or you have to make judgment calls about, if you're hiring people, you have to make a judgment about who's going to be the best person to hire. And hopefully you're not making that judgment based on the color of somebody's skin. Asian, Latino, black, white. I'm sure there's lots of other kinds of people out there that I'm forgetting to mention, right? But if I'm a business and I'm going to hire someone, I'm going to hire the person who I can hire, as in who I can afford, and the person who I think is going to work the hardest and do the best job. The color of their skin is going to have very little to do with it. Although I will consider the fact that if I bring in, I live in Florida. There are a lot of people there from Cuba and Mexico. If I bring a person in who doesn't speak my language, and I don't speak Spanish, the language barrier could lower productivity. So I may actually choose not to hire that person. Although my sister-in-law married a Cuban man, and she is doing her best to learn his language, and he's also working hard to learn her language. So I think that's a good fusion, and in certain circumstances, I would consider hiring him. Anyway, Charlie Kirk. I personally found him to be a fantastic person, and it's a loss that he's not with us now. I don't know anything yet about the man who did it. I saw a photo that was released by the FBI. I have seen several videos about it. I've seen some people saying that it was a good thing that he's gone. I've seen some people saying that's horrible. I've seen a lot of things. It's terrible that he's gone. I believe anybody who's cheering for his death, you've got some soul searching to do, and I can't encourage you enough to do it. You probably won't do it just because I said so. But it's a sad, sad day that a man like that is gone for sharing his opinion and trying to convince some other people that his opinion is correct. Those people that disagree with his opinion, you've created a martyr. Well, only the person who did it, right? Because I'm not going to try to put a you on if you fall in the Democrat Party camp. I will suggest the Democrat Party itself has moved so far away from most Democratic people that you're not really represented anymore. America's got a lot of healing to do, and this is a wound, a serious wound to America. Not that Charlie Kirk was the only person that could help America. There are many, many people. And I really do encourage those of us who believe similar to Charlie Kirk, this is a wake-up call. There are people out there who are willing to murder you for believing like Charlie, especially if you're vocal about it. I recommend we don't be quiet about it anymore. But we do it with love and respect, right? Because everybody out there deserves respect. Look, up ahead of me, there's 2 trucks. One of them may believe that communism would be a good thing for America. One of them may believe that our country was set up the right way. But guess what? Both of them have a right to be on the road and go out there and earn a living. And be on these roads, as long as they don't hurt anyone. And they can think their own thoughts, and it's okay. And they can even go and talk to each other about those thoughts. They can talk to me about those thoughts. If one of them comes to me and tries to convince me of communism, of the values of communism, I might listen to them for a while. I'll probably disagree. And they may find that they don't like talking to me because I happen to know a lot of things. I hope that no one ever tries to hurt me for it, but I know the things I know. I've learned a lot of things since I was young. You know, I was born in 1973. That puts me at 52 years old. And yes, there's a pause when I say how many years. I'm so old I actually had to get a calculator out. For a while I was thinking I was 53. I don't know why. Anyway. Well, it depends on the day, right? But I'm not going to tell you my birthday. It's such a sad thing. And, you know, on my screen I have a YouTube video up. It's a live stream. I don't think they've gone live yet. And it's the announcement that the killer, suspected killer, right? The police have to use terms like suspect and all of that stuff. I'm going to say I'm not going to use that. If the person did it, then I'm talking about the killer. Someone definitely did it, right? There's definitely a someone out there who did it. And I say that someone was wrong. The FBI, the suspect they're looking for, looked like a white man in his mid-20s. Maybe his motivations will be known eventually. It doesn't really matter what he thinks and why he thought the right thing to do would be to kill Charlie Kirk. Because it was definitely not right. And Charlie Kirk was a family man. He has a wife and kids now that don't have a father. I have a wife and a kid, and if something was done to me, it would hurt them a lot in the pocketbook and a lot of other ways, right? I'm not trying to say that I'm the most perfect guy, but I treasure every moment I can be home. That's one of the reasons I'm working so hard on this channel and on the projects that I'm going to be putting on the channel, because I need to be home. Now, Charlie took his family out with him, it seems, which makes sense. If you're out and you have to travel around the country, bring your family. Now, I can't. Well, sometimes I do bring my daughter out with me when I can. Unfortunately, the truck only has 2 seats, and I can't have. We've considered taking my daughter and my wife, but I can't have more than one extra. I can't have more than one passenger because I only have one legal seat. There's some seats in the back, but in the case of an accident, there'd be no safety. So, anyway, it's a tragedy that Charlie's gone, and lots of developments will be happening. I'm not going to be talking anymore about Charlie. I'm basically going to do my best to keep politics out of it, because I know, I've seen what happens to businesses that wade into politics and start telling their customers how to believe. Assuming that the political divide is a 50-50 mix, well, anyone who falls on the other side of that divide won't want to do business with me. So I intentionally am going to keep politics out. But then again, I am going to be talking about right and wrong and issues where which side of things I fall may be hinted at. And for that, I apologize. But I'm not going to get out there and preach. I'm not going to tell you which way to believe. I'm just going to say what I believe. Our entire world needs a lot of healing. It's not just America. Europe is on fire. Australia. China is a dumpster fire. I mean, all the major countries out there, practically every one of them has been affected by, it really became apparent during COVID, during and after. Anyway, that's one of the main reasons I decided to create this channel, to be a voice of reason among a sea of insanity, and hope that some people will understand that wherever you sit politically, wherever you sit on religion, hopefully a little bit of sanity and a foundation of how to think and what are your core beliefs that you use to make decisions. Personally, I believe in doing good, helping other people out as much as possible, and having a top priority and a list of priorities on down. With that, I make decisions based on what's the best thing for me to do with my time. God, family, community, and then country. Well, anyway, I think that's enough. I hope that all of you are well. I hope you learned something, and thank you for tuning in.